Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a short video. I just recorded a podcast, so I encourage you to go listen to it. It's on finding balance, and I have my notes here, and I just wanted to, the way that it works for me is always, as soon as I get done with a podcast episode, I think about 100 other things that I could have said, should have said, wanted to say to you guys. So this video is sort of supplemental to the podcast that I recorded today, and I'm going to read this out to you, so forgive me for not looking at the camera the whole time, but today's podcast was on balance, and I personally believe there are 4 pillars to your life and 4 areas where you need to strive for balance. It's impossible to have balance in all the things all the time, and I know that. But the 4 areas that I think are most important to be aware of are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Okay, those 4 things. And that's pretty much everything, right? Physical balance is very important, and that means eating right and exercising and drinking water. It also means making sure that your iron is where it should be if you're anemic like me, making sure that you're getting enough of the right minerals, because deficiencies like vitamin D, zinc, iron, magnesium can cause anxiety symptoms, depression symptoms, and things like that. So physical balance is probably the easiest one to take care of because we know what it means and it's tangible, and there are things we can take for it. Mental balance basically means to me just making sure that you have an outlet for your stress, for negative things, but also that you're getting enough positive in your life. Mental balance would mean to me journaling and certain practices that help you to channel your day. It would mean not allowing yourself to be overwhelmed, or if you feel like you're being overwhelmed, to delegate things as well as you can, to try to keep yourself level and just not overwhelmed is a good way to put that. Emotional balance would mean being careful not to be overwhelmed with one particular emotion. Basically, if you're angry all the time, if you're sad all the time, that's something to look at. There's a reason for that. There's something in your life that's out of balance there. And when one emotion takes over and you're not feeling joy, and you're not feeling happiness, you really want to address the causes of that, because it can lead to depression easily. It can lead to anxiety. It can lead to other behaviors, even to OCD, as coping mechanisms. So emotional balance is very, very important. One of the things that I wanted to say on the podcast that I almost forgot right now on the YouTube as well is mental balance. When you're trying to find things to do for yourself mentally, one of the best things that I recommend is reading books. You don't think about that. Some people don't. I don't sometimes think about that as being a way to release stress, but it totally, totally is. Reading books and going to other worlds and living vicariously through other characters can be very healing, can be de-stressing, if that's a word. So I encourage you to read books if you need some kind of mental balance or just a place to sort of shake off your day. Books are really great for that. And also, if you don't really want to talk to anybody about what's going on, but you do want to do something for it, reading books is a great thing. And then spiritual balance, which is not religion. I don't really mean religion, I just mean spiritual practice. And whatever that means to you is what it means to you, and no judgment. If that means being out in nature, if that means going to a worship service, if that means gathering around with your friends and doing rituals, I don't know what you do. But I think that spiritual practice is important because it keeps us connected to source, to universe, to higher power, to each other. I think that it's another area that sometimes is overlooked. So those are my 4 columns for wellness, for cutting anxiety off at the root. You want physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual balance in your life. Okay? And I really just mostly wanted to talk about reading books as being a great thing, and that having an imbalance, I don't want to throw out numbers when I don't know numbers, but I know that for a lot of us is what leads to anxiety. It's what leads to depression. It's why we find ourselves in areas of overwhelming sadness, or we look around one day and we're sort of drowning in emotion, or we look around one day and we have some strange behaviors, repetitive behaviors, or suicidal thoughts even. It's because we have imbalance somewhere, and that's easy to fix. And go listen to the podcast and I'll talk about it more. talked about Eastern medicine and Western medicine and the differences there, and that I encourage you to look towards Eastern medicine because the idea there is not to treat symptoms, but to find an imbalance and to cure it, and therefore cure the mental illness, the anxiety, the depression. When you're looking for the root cause and you realize that it's because something is out of balance, it's like anxiety was, for me, it was my body's way of telling me, you know, something's wrong, we need to fix it, something's wrong, we need to fix it. And I totally went off the rails, and I don't want that for you, but it was good for me. I did a lot of learning on a lot of different things, nutrition and spiritually and all kinds of things. So anyway, we're seeking balance on the podcast. Please go listen to it and tell me what you think. Thanks for listening right now, and I love you, and live in courage. Bye-bye.